She dropped off. Did she come back in?
Oh,
There we
sure.
go.
Hey, beautiful. Sing the heavens down, sister, there.
How you doing, Miss
Great day,
Sharon?
great day.
Great day. How are you, Miss Sharon?
Hello there, Miss Chastity, ladies.
Good evening.
Oh, goodness. I forgot. My speakers have gone out on my laptop. I have to put my things. I was like, why isn't anybody saying anything?
Everybody's saying something.
Right. Everybody's saying so I can't hear it. That's kind of prophetic too. Well, good evening, good evening, good evening, good evening. I believe it's already recording. So let's get right into it. How's everybody's day been?
Doing great.
Awesome sauce. On last evening, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen so that we are looking at the video. Let's see. Last evening, we started on this particular video, and it's 10 minutes and a few seconds long. Hi, Camelia. Well, she can't hear me yet, but we're going to do the last portion of that video this evening. And it was the title of it was How to Make Six Figures in 6 Months Summary. And so some of the points that, thank you, Lady B, for sending that out. Some of the points that people made who were on last evening watching was what to do was some of the things that are problematic for us at times is interruptions, things that keep us from being focused. Hi, Tanya. Things that keep us from fulfilling our goal because there are walls that are in the way. So I'm gonna let you hear a little bit of the video from last evening, and then start with the catch-up point to where we are today. All right, so I'm gonna back it up just a little, and then we're gonna do a little bit of discussion. All right, here we go. Oh, share sound, hold on. You're not gonna hear anything if I don't share sound. There we are.
Big day is to make sure that you know exactly what you want to shoot for. 2 is confidence and courage to leave the day strong to make big decisions. So I would start the day with something that wasn't productive, maybe watching TV, maybe the news. Now I'm very strategic and intentional first thing in the morning. So I have my morning routine, and there's a lot of things out there, Mark, that give you 49 steps to a morning routine. I'm not big on that. I'm more focused on outcome related things. So, because I feel like if you're outcome focused, you're going to produce results like nobody else. So if we're going to get tactical here, the whole purpose of a morning routine is, 1, you have to have clarity on exactly what you're doing that day. So you have to have intention, and you have to visualize what your perfect day is to make sure that you know exactly what you want to shoot for. 2 is confidence and courage to leave the day strong to make big decisions. So everything I did in the morning was to make sure I had confidence leaving the house, like I was in the best state of mind possible. 2, I knew what I was doing. So the first thing I would do, which I never did before this, was the toughest task, or the income producing activity. We've talked about this before. You got to do the things that are proven to make income. I talk to a lot of entrepreneurs, and they're like busy all week. They're working 100 hours, but they don't have money. They're broke. And I'm just,
doesn't make any sense.
No, but they're focusing on all the things except what actually matters. And here's the scary thing. Doing something unimportant well doesn't make it more important because you do it well. Right? So
that was the point at which we stopped on last evening. Now it should pick up and keep on going through this next section for this evening. For those who are just coming on, thank you so very much for joining us on this evening's Tips and Dip. Why is it called that? Because we're going to get a few tips in a little bit of time, and we're going to dip. And so per last evening, the theme came up, fasting from excuses. All right, I'm going to refresh the screen and see if it'll start back, and I'm going to start at that point.
to put in 18 hours a day to feel productive.
Yes.
Yet they're not actually making progress.
So back it up just a little
And
bit.
I'm just
Doesn't make any sense.
No, but they're focusing on all the things except what actually matters. And here's the scary thing. Doing something unimportant well doesn't make it more important because you do it well.
Yeah.
Right? So
They're trying to put in 18 hours a day to feel productive.
Yes.
Yet they're not actually making progress.
that's how I
moving
was, by the way, at the beginning. I was working 60 hours a week, and society says, well, if you're not getting results, work 70. If you're not
Work
getting
harder,
results,
not
work
smarter.
80. And then I was working 80. I was capped out with how much I was working, but my results weren't changing. So I'm thinking in my head, something has to change. And it's all in my book here.
Yeah.
But it's not about the hours you work, it's what you put in the hours. So a morning routine for me was crucial. I work 60 to 90 minutes, first thing in the morning, my most productive task. No interruptions. I eliminate all distractions and I go all in. Then I take a quick break.
Highest income, highest
Yes,
impact.
100%. And what's cool is when you're coming up, you always want to work 60 to 80% on things that are like making profit for you and making money for your business, moving your business forward. And I always say you should be working 20% on legacy focused things.
All right, I'm going to pause it right there. If you haven't gotten out a sheet of paper, and I didn't preface with that, the ones from last evening kind of realized that you need to have that. If you don't have a sheet of paper and pen or your notes open on your phone where you can take that, please, at this point, do so. Tips and dip is structured. I've got it structured so that it's quick, fast, and we're in and we're out. So because we're starting so late, it's not going to be a long, lengthy thing. It is meant to be in and out. So make sure that you're getting some notes. Of course, this will be put into the Telegram. Once I get everybody's emails into this new system, it's going to come out to you in your emails as well. But yes, feel free, please, to take copious notes.
Like a book, a program, song, an album, a podcast, something that's going to be around for a long time. That's a legacy play. You have a book, I have a book.
Yeah.
Now, here's the scary thing. If you're only focusing on a book and you don't have money, you're not going to make money till later. So that's why it's 80% profit producing, 20% legacy, but then it eventually switches. So now I can do 80% legacy and make no money immediately because I have the systems in place to make the money that I put through in the last couple of years. Does that make sense?
It does make sense.
Yeah.
And something about you that I notice about any successful person who walks through these doors is you've got the passion and you've got the confidence. Founder of Game Changers Academy and author of 6 Months to 6 Figures, almost 200,000 copies sold, over 4,000 reviews online, which is incredible. Peter Voodg is joining us right now. This is Business Rockstars. I'm Mark Lack. We're here to inspire, inform, and connect a community of entrepreneurs. Brother, I gotta know, you're obviously ultra healthy. I've been to your house many times. You're vegetarian, you're eating healthy, you're working out constantly. Is that part of what helps you stay confident and passionate and on purpose?
Yes. It's the energy is everything. I think that's the most underrated commodity on earth is energy. And for me, when I was running a sales team, we had hundreds of sales reps. We were doing well. And when I got healthier, because your culture in your business is a reflection of you. If your people cut corners, you do. If you show up late, your people do. If you're not passionate, they're not. They're a reflection of you. So for me, I realized how important health was, and I saw it, Mark, as a competitive advantage because I looked around. Even the people I most respected, the people that I've looked up to since I was 14, I realized a lot of them were so focused on business and millions, but nothing on health, and a lot of them not even on relationships. So they'd be $1 million producers, but horrible parents or no health. So I wanted to follow people that had world-class overall, they're game changers in every area of their life. So yes, health was huge for me. So I got into health. I then taught my team how to be healthier. I said, guys, this is the competitive advantage. Nothing tastes as good as health feels. And ever since I've been on the health kick, Mark, I'm more productive, I'm more creative, I'm more aware, I feel better. Every time I eat, I feel more vibrant and alive versus tired. So, and to be honest, this is an uncomfortable topic for unhealthy people. It's uncomfortable because they're like, health?
Money is an uncomfortable topic for broke people.
Yeah, but you have to face it. That's what you need. Sometimes the things that you need to hear are not the things you want to hear.
At the end of the day, being uncomfortable is what allows you to ultimately end up growing.
So to be honest, if you know you're not healthy, that's an advantage, and you need to make a decision right now to understand the importance of health. If you don't make time for health now, I think you're going to have to make time for illness later. I've realized that. So it's more about sustained success and focusing on your future self versus instant gratification. I think our society is obsessed with instant gratification. Now, I want the pizza now, I want this now. And it's going to kill your ambitions, it's going to kill your results, and it's going to kill your progress.
So somebody says, you know, I've read 6 Figures, 6 months to 6 Figures, and I've got one big takeaway. What's that takeaway going to be?
Oh, I think the biggest one is mastery versus overload. With all the information, with the information out there, with all the podcasts, all the books, all the videos, all the courses, all the advice, people are so quick to throw advice out there that everyone's overloaded. They're overwhelmed, and when you're overwhelmed, Mark, you seek distraction subconsciously. It's a fact. And I think complexity is the enemy of execution. So if people say the biggest takeaway, and I surveyed my game changers on my academy, and the biggest takeaway is mastery versus overload. So what I tell people is figure out your ideal outcome, figure out what you want to accomplish in the next 6 months, base it off your potential and what's possible, not your past. Most people base everything off their past. And they haven't accomplished as much as they want, so they're limiting their goals by their past. So set the goals, figure out your ideal outcome, figure out the top 5 things you want to accomplish. Where if me and you were hanging out in 6 months, and I say, Mark, what would have had to happen for you to be fully excited about your results? You need to tell me 5 things. And then here's the key. Focus only on things that are relevant and congruent to those goals. So it's a fact check. Look at the podcast. Is this podcast, A, is it ran by someone that's world class, that has results? B, have I already executed on the information I've already learned? And if you haven't, don't move on. People are addicted to information and not outcomes.
I knew you were showing up with the fire today, brother. Where can people get more information about you in this book?
Amazon. They can learn more at gamechangersmovement.com, and then Audible has the Audible as well.
All right.
Millions, but nothing on health, and a lot of them not even on relationships. So they'd be $1 million producers, but horrible parents or no health. So I wanted to follow people that had world-class overall, they're game changers in every area of their life. So yes, health was huge for me. So I got into health. I then taught my team how to be healthier. I said, guys, this is the competitive advantage. Nothing tastes as good as health feels. And ever since I've been on the health kick, Mark, I'm more productive, I'm more creative, I'm more aware, I feel better. Every time I eat, I feel more vibrant and alive versus tired. So, and to be honest, this is an uncomfortable topic for unhealthy people. It's uncomfortable because they're like, health?
Money is an uncomfortable topic for broke people.
But you have to face it. That's what you need. Sometimes the things that you need to hear are not the things you want to hear.
At the end of the day, being uncomfortable is what allows you to ultimately end up growing.
So to be honest, if you know you're not healthy, that's an advantage, and you need to make a decision right now to understand the importance of health. If you don't make time for health now, I think you're going to have to make time for illness later.
All right, that's where I wanted to go back and just have a reminder point. Okay. So again, welcome. This is Tips and Dip. This week's theme given to us by Lady B is fasting from excuses. So as I did on last evening, I want to hear from you all. I took a lot of notes. I've taken notes before, but you know how you listen to something again and it's like, oh yeah, that pops out. Definitely want to mention that. Definitely want to remember that. So, and let me see what's in the chat real quick. Tanya said, good evening, Miss Marty. Oh, Miss Marty's on the call. Is she on with you, Lady Tanya? Because I don't see her.
Yes, I think she is. She says she's unable to
oh, that's fine. Okay.
to respond because she's on the computer.
Okay, great. And Lady B said, great evening all. Yes, Lady Tanya, nothing tastes as good as health feels. On computer only today, not able to respond. Great. She's listening through my speaker. Wonderful. Welcome. Thank you so much for sharing with her. So want to real quick, because we're already at the 9:15 point, and there's 2 reasons if it seems like I'm fast and rush, is because I want to make sure that we cover, but also I deliberately did not use the Zoom that is paid for, so that is no way for us to be on here any longer than 40 minutes. But at 30 minutes, I want us to be wrapping up. So what are some of the things that you all gained? Who wants to share?
From this video?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Well, I was trying to get that last part where he was saying master overload, but I can look it up. But I do like the routine. I call it
Mhm.
rising routine instead of morning routine.
Right, I understand why.
And the first 60 minutes, I had started off with 30 minutes of meditation, but I'm definitely going to do 60 minutes. I think it'd be more beneficial. And then spending 60% of the day on the businesses, if you do have multiple businesses, but making sure that you put more time into things that's actually bringing in profit and being beneficial to
Hmm.
what you got going on. And the biggest, well, two biggest things that I'm gonna step away from this is two sayings he had: nothing tastes as good as health feels, and stay away from instant gratification. So that's what I got from that short clip. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Who's next? Activities got cut off. I'm typing in the chat here, PPA, profit producing activities. Who else would like to share something?
Okay. I
Hey,
was going to
Lady
say
Di.
I appreciated both two statements that I want to speak about. One is nothing tastes as good as health feels. And the other was if you don't make time for health now, you'll have to make time for illness later. And that is something that I have shared with a lot of people. I was a very healthy person, even being a very healthy person, I had some particular issues that I had to deal with that were congenital, that led to a lot of issues because they were unresolved. So by the time I was 60, I was having some major problems, having to make time for illness. And it's very, very true. You have to um, take care of your health, whether it's your fault or not. For instance, individuals who have even, say an accident of some sort that that interferes with their health, or for those who are just negligent, who are just getting by on the minimum. You really have to put the kind of effort into it that helps to give you an edge that basically is resolving issues and helping to support your body. So that I know is so important before you can do anything else.
Yeah.
Because without a healthy body and mind, you're not going to be productive. You're going to be focused on the illness.
I know too well about that.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you so much, Lady Di. Who else would
You're
like to
welcome.
share?
You're welcome. Thank you.
Indeed. Linda, Sharon, Camelia. All right, so if everyone is in listening mode, I want to just bring out a couple of the points that he brought out that we've seen already with Dr. J, Mr. Cycler, and that is concerning. He said that many times people are so focused on their riches, that attainment of wealth or the millions, that they neglect family and health and family, health and relationships was the term that he used. And what's beautiful is the example that Dr. J has been giving us in showing that if something, and he says it, if something happens with his daughters, his children, his son, or his mom, he's on it. And I love seeing that balance. On Thursday, when we had the meeting, it had previously been scheduled for 11 o'clock in the day. He postponed it to that evening, and then did have to leave to go and check on his mom. But he postponed it before knowing that he was going to have to fly out of town to go check on his mom, because he had forgotten that his daughter had a program at school that morning. And so there are several parents that are out of town, but the school had set it up so that they could tune in on Zoom. So he made sure that he was in place to tune in on Zoom to be present with his daughter for her program. That speaks volumes. And one thing that Lady B has pointed out and said to me before is that, you know, we've talked about it, and some of you all may have as well, but he's made a point of, I've had that life in my 40s where, you know, I had the car, I had the house, I had all the luxuries, but that's not it. I got to experience that. That's not it. And what he's at a more mature point of now is realizing what is it is having enough money that you can have options, because he has the option to fly. I mean, we all know that flying at the drop of a hat is expensive, and he's doing it all the time. So he's got the means. So he has options, but it's those options or that money doesn't have him. So as we are making that point of going towards whatever our dream, our vision of success is, we must make sure, as we said on last night, that it aligns with what God has in purpose for us. Because if we can keep that in the forefront, when we keep that in the forefront, we're not going to be caught up into what Solomon saw as frivolous and counting for nothing. So, you know, the things are there for us, not for those things to have us. One of the other things that he says that I really wanted to point out this evening was, again, that whole thing of figuring out your outcome. Think about, and we said this on last night, think about what your ideal outcome is. And I was asking that everyone put down, you know, their top 5, and he went into explaining it a little bit. What do you see yourself at? What is it that you really want? And then why? But another particular point that he made that I think we can cue in on as well is to, when we're doing that, that we make that based on our potential and not on our past. Why would he say that? Because looking back at our past and saying, you know, I may have failed at this, or even if you succeeded at something, keeps your mind closed to the prospect of something new and another way of achieving. If you only look at, if you were, I'll just take myself. If I look at that I was successful as an administrator, successful as a teacher, and, you know, I'm looking at this particular event, say it was when I got Teacher of the Year for the state of Mississippi, and, you know, I'm like, oh, that was wonderful. If I'm stuck there, that was good for then. That has nothing to do with my success now. That will be an anchor that keeps me there instead of my moving forward. On the flip side, if I look at something as a failure and I get stuck in that mindset of that was a failure, that was a failure point, and I'm not able, you know, I don't have what it takes to go ahead, then I won't be looking at the potential that God has put in me, the potential that I'm born with, that I was created with for destiny to be fulfilled. I won't go towards that because I'm stuck on something that's happened before, a mindset that is prevailing in a way of keeping me downtrodden, keeping me at a point of looking down instead of looking up and forward. So we want to make sure that in this walk, in this race, in this run, that we are running the good race by being intentional on those things that are going to be profit producing, not just profit producing as in money, but also as in us becoming more valuable in our mindset. What do I mean by making that statement? We're investing in ourselves. Elibrel, my dear son, not now. Thank you. He's singing, y'all, or something. I don't know what that was really, but but profit producing and increasing our value. Taking the time to jump on this call tonight is increasing your value. It's increasing that mindset towards those things that are going to move you in the direction that you want to move in. So when we take that time to invest in ourselves, reading things that are going to help us become better and more skillful in the way that we carry about our day or carry about our life, being surrounded by people who have like minds, who are also wanting to go forward. Anything that you're doing that's going to bring value to yourself, it's profit producing as well. So I don't want us to think about profit producing as only money, but also in the value. That's why he was saying that morning routine, or as Charity was saying, that rising routine is so important. So that you're spending that time with the Lord, you're spending that time with you, because it's a very important thing that, you spend time evaluating yourself, evaluating your thought processes, envisioning what you want the day to look like, and managing your expectations so that if something goes awry that day, okay, God, I know you got me. You're working everything out for my good. I will pivot, and I'm going to make this decision now. When it comes to things that we talked about yesterday with the focus and breaking down the walls and dealing with interruptions, those are things that you may have to take a pivot, you may have to take a turn. And that's why we're saying we're going to fast from excuses, because we're not going to let that stop us from whatever our end goal is, whatever that thing is that we're trying to reach and feel like we most definitely have to reach. I love how he said one of the most underrated commodities is energy. We have to get to a point as well, and this is something I'm sincerely working on, of protecting our energy. What do I mean by that? Making sure that I'm not allowing not only energy vampires to steal my energy and take me off into things that are counterproductive to where I'm trying to go, but I'm also not allowing myself to be that energy vampire by doing, as the statement that I started the video off in, by doing something well that is not important, instead of working on, because psychologically we might start doing something well that's not important just so we can feel good, because it's making me feel good. Oh, I did this well, instead of taking that extra step to say, you know what, I'm going to learn something that makes me feel uncomfortable, because I don't know how to do this, but I'm going to Google it. I'm going to take a class on it. I'm going to find somebody to work with. I'm going to push through that wall and learn that thing that I said at one point I can't. But yes, I can. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. I can, because Holy Spirit is there to teach me all things, remind me all things, of all things. So, and I don't believe that that's just in the word, so to speak. I believe that that has to do with everything that pertaining to life and godliness that we are to have in abundance. So I hope that made sense for someone. Being uncomfortable, he pointed out, is required for growth. So if we're going to growth, if we're going to get to that next level, whatever your next level is, be comfortable with being uncomfortable. Get to that point where you want the pain of the exercise. Whenever you begin to exercise, there's going to be some soreness when you first start. Then once you're good at that particular level and you start getting a little heavier weight, there comes some more soreness. Get to the point where you look forward to the soreness. We must get to the point where we look forward to the soreness, so that we we can keep pushing ourselves. And then, as we were talking about with accountability, you find that partner or that group, and right now we are in an accountability group here, those of us who are on here, we can push each other to that point, into that state of saying, you know what, I'm not satisfied, I'm going to go. This is, and then you can tell somebody or tell the group, you know what, this is what I'm going to work on. This is what I'm going to do. You all ask me about it the next time we get together. And so then you're working together with someone else to also in accountability say, you know what, I'm a part of kingdom, you're a part of kingdom, we're in kingdom together, and we're going to make sure that we that we push forward to those things. And I'm going to push you, and I want you to push me towards those things I say I need to accomplish, I need to become in order for my goals to be met. So those are, I'm trying to make sure that I covered the other thing. The example of focus was given so well by Peter Voogd. I saw, and I don't know if many of you caught it, but the person who was interviewing him, Mac, and many times what he was saying, he was trying to be a good interviewer, but actually he was interrupting, or he was trying to finish his thought, the thought of Peter when he thought he was about to say something, and what he said was not where Peter was going. And that could have been an interruption. That could have been something that threw him off. But what I noticed, and I was like, wow, he is so focused. He's gotten to know himself so well. He's gotten to know the path that he wants to be on so well that it doesn't matter if someone gives something good to say, because what Mac was saying, you know, was some good colloquialisms, but they weren't the point. He knew who he was. He knew what his mission was. He knew what his focus was so well because he has spent that time envisioning his day, spent that time with himself, evaluating himself, spent that time listening to whatever he considers as a higher power. We know who the higher power is. There's no discussion about that. But he spent that time so that when the time started, he was hyper focused. He didn't get thrown off. And I thought, wow, 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 wow. So passion plus a system, a structured system, a strategized system is going to lead you to your success. When you look at the life of David, he had a system. When he was dealing with the lion, he was dealing with the giant, he was dealing with the different enemies that were kingdoms that came against, and they went to war. In each one of those, if you go back, you'll be able to see he had a system for dealing with those things. Thereby, he had success. So I don't know if anyone else has anything in our last 8 minutes, 7 minutes that they want to share, but the floor is open.
Yes, share. This is powerful. Thank you so much, Eric. I tell you, you're phenomenal. I noticed something that Tanya put in the chat, and I definitely want to bring it up.
Thank you.
She said, when overwhelmed, I do seek distractions unconsciously. I realize it after the fact. Your culture and your business reflects your company culture, reflects you. And then she said, company culture is very important. And when she mentioned that, I'm going, wow, sometimes we do seek distractions when it unconsciously. And I'll give an example. Like today, some of you were on the call and some of you weren't, but when Coach Mark mentioned the idea about the lease option was strictly a part of the what's the
REI
the REI program. Well, you know, Mr. Seigler did give us information on lease option at the beginning, and I think he will continue. We always have to realize that when we are with the launch of a company, don't take everything so seriously. That's what I kept hearing in my spirit. Yeah, it may have been mentioned that no, this is not what's going to happen and what have you, and put everybody into a frenzy. No need. That's what I kept hearing in my spirit at the time. And why? And why is that? Not because Brenda's all that or nothing like that. It was because what I meditated on at the beginning of my day. And what he said with Mr. Peter, when he mentioned about your meditations in the mornings, when you meditate on what God says is true, then all the other distractions, all the other obstacles, all these other things that may come after you, you're just saying, okay, so be it. God's going to bring us through it all. So this program that we're in with real estate, I think is phenomenal. Don't take it for as a light thing, or don't take it to the point that every situation that comes up, we gotta say, oh my God, that's not what I thought this way, I thought that. We're still at the beginning. And sometimes these distractions are to put us into the place to say, where are we mentally? Where are we with the frame of mind to say, are we going to go forth in spite of? Because we're still more than conquerors through it all. I really appreciate her saying that with the distractions, because this is what I had to reflect on myself, Tanya. A lot of times I did start looking for the distractions. I started looking for things, and what did that do? A lot of times it took away the energy that Eric just mentioned about. So we got to protect the energy that God has already given us. Where are we going to put our energy? We're going to put it into what God says it is. And that means we are the head and not the tail, above and not beneath. And any way we speak it, that's what's going to come forth. He promised that. So when we speak these things and know that we're going together, we're working together, and we're joining forces together, he says 2 can chase 1,000, 3 can chase 10,000. All of us together, hey, we got this thing. We're going to roll with it, and we're going to build each other up, and we're going to edify each other, and we're going to win. Okay, and I just wanted to share that and say thank you, because it both tied in about the distractions as well as when he said about the energy. This is what I'm gonna really take a look at what I'm putting my energy in day by day. So thank you again.
Indeed. We have 2 minutes if anybody else want to jump in there real quick. Ms. Tanya said, absolutely, Brenda. We're still in pre-lunch. Yes, ma'am. Make phone calls or cut the grass. Sadly, I cut the grass. Accountability partner charity, help. Anyone else in our last minute?
Great day, a great evening, great evening, great evening.
Yes.
I just want to say I really enjoyed the call. It was a blessing to me. I did take some notes. A lot of it was geared toward me, so I must have needed to be on this call. Miss Lady B just accidentally saw the post, but I'm glad that I was on it. And I was just thinking all we needed was the Hammond B after you finished. I don't know your name, but you preached tonight. Thank you guys for allowing me to share.
Thank you.
To be honest with you, Sharon, I was taking consideration this was your you guys were in service today. This is your so usually is it after 7 you're pretty much available?
Right after sundown.
Sundown. Okay.
Sabbath,
Right.
yes. Sabbath ends at sundown.
Okay. All right.
So we got 30 seconds. 30 seconds. Lady Di, I saw you on mute. Can you wrap it up in 30 seconds?
I just want to say thank you so much. Thank you. Excellent.
God bless you. God bless you.
Thank you.
Yes,
God
I have
bless
to
you
thank
too.
you too. I must say, had me thinking.
And Camalia?
And I'm 74 years old, so I think about this whole conversation would have been absolutely phenomenal for me, say 20 years ago. I worked 10 jobs at 10 jobs, listen to me, 3 jobs for 10 years. The money that I made is unbelievable, and don't have a dime to really speak of, because I gave the money away and people needed it and whatever. So this, and as they would say, don't look at the past. You got to move forward, And I look at my brother who's very, very, very sick, and he's a doctor who earns so much money that he had to do his taxes quarterly. And now he's, you know, going through so much suffering and pain. I mean, he's ready to